Good evening, guys. Good evening to everyone who's attending face to face and all the students who will be watching me online. So let's continue with our discussion. Before the break, we started off with value chain analysis. Now we will try to deep dive into what is value chain analysis, what is the use of value chain analysis, and how to manage the linkages. So all these are the pending topics of this value chain. Let's do this. Now, as I told you, value chain analysis, it is used by an organization to create coordination. Different activities. We have primary activity, we have support activity. What did Michael Porter say? Any activity that you carry out in your organization is not a random activity. It has some essence. So if you want to create core competence, if you want to create competitive advantage, you should try to create a system. You should try to create a methodology so that even if employees leave the organization, even if employees are transferred to some other location, your work will not be affected. So always try to build systems, processes, procedures. Always build systems, processes, or procedures. So this is what is written here, guys. So let's talk about the introduction first. Value chain. What is value chain? A value chain is a set of activities that a firm operating in a specific industry performs in order to deliver a valuable product or service for the market. Value chain has been widely used as a means of describing the activities within and around the organization. So within the organization also and around. What do you mean by around the organization? Your suppliers, your distributors, your bankers, your intermediaries, marketing agencies, after sales service providers, all these are outside the boundaries of the organization. So they also play a very important role. If you have a good coordination with them, you will be able to get timely delivery of raw material. You will be able to get your product delivered on timely basis. So you should have a coordination with them. Relating them to an assessment of competitive strength of an organization. In other words, the ability to provide value for money products. The whole point of value chain analysis again here is to create value in the eyes of the customer so that the customers buy our product on a regular basis. So the two steps as we discussed, first identify the separate activities and number two, assess the value added from each activity. How many activities we have? Two, primary activity and support activity. How many activities in primary? Five. Inbound logistics, operations, outbound logistics, sales, service. Support, four. Procurement, technology development, human resource management, and firming. Something below the diagram, very important. Very important. Mark this as very important because this is the main crux of value chain analysis. Very important. One of the key aspects of value chain analysis is the recognition that the organizations are much more than a random collection of man, machine, material, and money. It is a much more than that. It is not just a random collection. Organizations work in team. So it is not just one activity or one person. It is group of people working towards one common objective. These resources, which resources? Human resource, technological resource, materials, these resources are of no value. They are of no use unless used into activities. Deployed means used into activities and organized into systems. What did Michael Porter say? You should create one system and routines which ensure that the products or services are produced which are valued by the customer. So you should make those products which are valued by the customer. And how will the products be valued? If it is working in coordination. Create a system, build a methodology, processes, so that even if one of your main employees is absent for some reason, the work should not be affected. The work should not be affected. So this is what we have discussed. 6.1, 6.2, these are the two questions which we should discuss now. How will you use value chain analysis for identifying core competence and then managing linkages? These two questions. So let's start with use of value chain analysis. 6.1. Use of value chain analysis in core competence, in identifying core competence. You have primary activities. How many primary activities? 5. So as an organization, you pick and choose which activity you think according to you are good at. There are 5 primary activities in front of you. Now you tell me in which of the activities you feel that you are good at. This is to understand how you can use value chain analysis in creating core competence. Now you pick and choose. Suppose I pick and choose operations as my main activity. So what did this value chain analysis tell us to do? Whatever you feel you are good at, suppose I am good at operations, try to make it your best activity. Which activity? Best activity. So your operations activity should be your best activity. Other activities you should maintain at threshold level or basic level. Basic level, threshold level means minimum level. Whatever is required, bare minimum you do that much for other activities. But for operations, what you should do for operations? You should try to make it your best. So inbound logistics, operations, marketing and sales and service, you maintain at a certain level, but operations, you make it your best. You all understood what I said? We have other option also. Operations, you make it your best, but other activities, you can maintain bare minimum, or you can also outsource that work. What you can do, you can outsource. So if you feel that your production is your main activity, you do only production activity, operations. Logistics, give it to some other organization. They will take care of what? Logistics. If you feel marketing is not your main point, give it to someone else. Outsource that. If you feel after sales service is not your advantageous activity, give it to someone else. Give it out on contractual basis. That is outsourcing. You all understood how to use value chain analysis in creating core competence. You should only focus on things which you are good at. That is called as use of value chain analysis in creating core competence. Pepe, Levi's, Zara, any organization you think about. Do you think they work, they carry out all the activities by themselves? No. Distribution work is done by some other company. Manufacturing is done by some other company. They only think about one activity. Which activity? Marketing and sales. Service is given by some other company, after sales service. So what are they doing? They are concentrating only on marketing and sales. Other activities, what they have done? Outsourced. What they have done? Outsourced. Similarly, OnePlus also follows this. Whatever they are good at, if they are good at after sales service, they will keep service with them, they will keep operations with them. Other activities, what they have done, they have outsourced. You all understood this? So this is how you can use value chain analysis in creating what? Core competence. Gone are the days when we used to carry out all our activities by ourselves. Now we use specialists. If I am good at one particular thing, I will only do that particular thing. For other things, I will outsource or I will maintain bare minimum, but I will always focus on activities in which I am good at. I will try to make it my best activity. Well understood this. This is your concept of use of value chain analysis. Look at this. Read the second paragraph. Second paragraph is the most important paragraph. A threshold competence in all activity is necessary. What do you mean by threshold? Threshold means minimum. Threshold means minimum. It means basic. Basic competence is required in all activities. Otherwise, you will not be able to produce the goods, deliver value to customer. But it is important to identify those competencies which critically support organization's competitive advantage. You should find out which activity will give you competitive advantage. It may be operations. Many organizations have good logistics. So focus only on logistics. These are known as core competence and will differ from one organization to another, depending on how the company is positioned. So for one organization, marketing can be the main activity. For other, operations can be the important activity. For third company, service can be the important activity. But it is you who has to decide what is your best activity. Other activities maintain bare minimum. If not possible, outsource. You all understood this. This is how you can use value chain analysis in creating core competence. And once you create core competence, you know what you will get: competitive advantage. You all understood this. This is your 6.1. Very simple concept. Now, let's talk about managing linkages. Managing linkages. For managing linkages, I want you to write this, whatever I am writing. Managing linkages. What do you understand by linkages? Coordination. Linkages means coordination. How well is the organization working depends on the linkages. Linkages means coordination. Whether the organization has coordination amongst the departments. We have two kinds of linkages: internal, external. Internal linkage, external linkage. We have three internal linkages and we have three external linkages. Three internal linkage, three external linkage. Please write this, I will explain. P, both side arrows, P. S, both side arrows, S. P, both side arrows, S. Both side arrows means coordination. Both are interacting with each other. External, we have vertical integration. Closely monitoring the supplier and TQM. Closely monitoring the supplier and TQM. The full form of TQM is Total Quality Management. Let's start. I believe you all have finished this. Now, look at this value chain. Internal linkage means coordination within the organization. Internal linkage means coordination within the organization. Here, three kinds of coordination is possible. Primary activity one is having good coordination with the other primary activity. For example, this operations activity, this operations department is having a good coordination with inbound logistics. Then we can say that there is a good linkage amongst the primary activities. You tell me if the raw material is made available on timely basis and it is given to the operations team. The operations team will manufacture the product and on timely basis give it to the outbound logistics team. Is it not a good coordination? Yes, it is good coordination. And if it is good coordination, it results into linkages amongst the primary activity. Similarly, there was one problem in our machine. The customer complained about this to our service center. The service center immediately got back to the customer and repaired this. And the marketing team was able to sort out the problems within a week. The turnover time given committed to the customer was 15 days, but we were able to resolve that issue within 7 days. So this shows good coordination between our service team and marketing team, because all the customer complaint goes to marketing team. One redressal department is there. That department immediately ask the service department to handle this situation. So you tell me, this shows good coordination amongst the primary activities. So if you want to create core competence, the core competence will be easily copied if it is external to the organization. But if something is within the organization, how can a competitor copy this? Will any competitor be able to copy the internal working of the organization? No, they cannot copy the internal functioning of the organization. So if there is good coordination within the primary activity, it means we have first linkage, that is primary activity having a good coordination with primary activity, with other primary activity. Similarly, one support activity having good coordination with the other support activity. Now, if you remember, there are 4 support activities: procurement, technology development, HRM, firm infrastructure. Let's say one of the employees in procurement department is about to retire, and they are 2 or 3 employees are about to retire in, let's say, 2 to 3 months time. HR management knows this, human resource manager knows this. So what they did, they immediately called for employees, called for an interview, prospective candidates, 10 to 12 candidates. They took the interview and they hired a particular individual. Why? So that before the employees retire, they can pass on the knowledge to the freshers, so that the work is not obstructed. So there is no problems in handing over the task to the new employees. They can learn a lot from that experienced personnel. So what is this? This is a good coordination between one support department, that is procurement, with the other support department, which is HRM. So if you have a good coordination, do you think will there be any problems? No, there will not be any problems. Why? Because there is good Good coordination amongst support activities. You all understood this? You all understood what is linkage? Linkage means coordination. You should have good coordination in your entire organization. That is the point here. And then good coordination amongst your primary and support activity. Now, one activity, let's say marketing activity, and the other activity, technology development. Now, technology development, they want to undertake digital marketing. So, marketing team communicated this interest to the technology development team, and technology development team was able to come up with a good digital marketing campaign for marketing team. This shows good coordination amongst primary and support. You all understood this? So this is your internal linkage. Whatever I just told you is an example. You can think of any other example. You can think of outbound logistics having a good coordination with firm infrastructure for delivering good quality products. You all understood this? So this is your internal linkage. Now let's talk about external linkage. Now what do you mean by external linkage? Linkage is coordination outside the boundaries of the organization. Now with whom you will have good coordination outside the organization? Your suppliers, distributors, agencies from which you are taking help, services. For example, banks, insurance company, transport company, telecom companies, all these are intermediaries whose help you are trying to take. So any coordination with them is external linkage. You will try to have good coordination with your suppliers so that they deliver raw materials on timely basis, that to good quality raw material. Good quality raw material. Otherwise, your finished product will not be up to the mark. So you want good quality raw material. That is external. Here also we have three types: vertical integration, closely monitoring the supplier, and TQM. Any which ways, vertical integration is something which I have to teach you tomorrow, but I trust that you will be able to remember whatever I teach you today. By tomorrow, you will be able to recall. So I will teach you vertical integration now itself. Will you be able to remember this for a day at least? Yes, let's see. We are talking about vertical integration, okay? This is RMS. What is the full form of RMS? Raw material suppliers. Then we have manufacturer. Distributor. Customer. This is called as product process chain. This is called as product process chain. What is this called? Product process chain. You are a manufacturer in this. You are a manufacturer in this. You carry out manufacturing activity. You can think of any example, but I'll be very specific here. Let's talk about car business, auto business. You are into manufacturing four-wheeler cars. So if you are into manufacturing four-wheeler cars, I'm telling you, I don't know if you know this, more than 100 components are required to make one car. Are you aware of this? More than 100 components. If you talk about all the components, more than 100 components are required to make one car. No company in this world makes all the components by themselves. They rely on others for components. So let's say you are into this business wherein you assemble the car, you make your own engine. So these two things you do. You make your own engine and you assemble the car, bring together the pieces of the car. That is the activity that you carry out, and you sell the car. Other things, music system, speaker, air conditioner, tires, car cover, seat cover, steering wheel, internal parts, everything else you Purchase. Purchase from whom? Suppliers. So can I say you are dependent on whom? You are heavily dependent on suppliers for your products, components. If they delay delivery of components, your assembly will be halted and customers will not be given timely delivery. You all understood the situation? So now one such situation is this, wherein you are dependent on tire companies to provide you with the tire. So who is a tire supplier for you? Who is a person who is giving you tires? A supplier for you, right? Because you make cars. So you are a manufacturer of, so for you tire is a component. Yes or no?
Yes.
So if there is delay in tire delivery, you cannot deliver the car without tires. You'll have to give delivery to customers on a specified date. But the supplier is saying we cannot commit when will we give you delivery of tire because there is shortage of raw material. So we also cannot commit our customer as to when we will give the delivery of car. So there is a problem. So now what you do? You decide to set up a factory wherein you will start making your own tires. So this is vertical integration. When a manufacturer starts doing the business of raw material, tries to supply, become the supplier of his own raw material, this is called as vertical integration. What is it called? Vertical integration. To be very specific, this is called as vertical backward integration. This is called as vertical backward. You all understood what is backward? We are moving back in our product process chain. We are moving backwards. That is why it is called as backward vertical integration. You all understood this? I will give you one more example, then I will give you two more examples. First, Cafe Coffee Day. Have you heard of this company's name, organization's name? At one point of time, they were the leaders in coffee business, but today they are not so because Starbucks has taken away their position. But still, Cafe Coffee Day is a renowned brand till today. 15 years ago, they were the market leader in coffee business. All over India, they had a very good presence 15 years ago. So they used to buy coffee beans. Coffee beans means coffee beans are the major raw material for us to make coffee. So coffee beans were purchased from suppliers. Few of the customers in few of the cities complained that the taste of the coffee is not at the same as it was before. So the management took this seriously and they tested the raw material quality and they found out, yes, the quality of the coffee beans is substandard. Substandard means not good. So they terminated the agreement with the coffee suppliers, coffee bean suppliers, and they took a decision. They bought a farmland near Bangalore and they started growing their own coffee beans so that they can supply to their own coffee outlets. Now you tell me, earlier organization was dependent on suppliers, but now they started doing this all by themselves. What is this? Vertical backward integration. You all understood this? Now real life situation. This is actually real life situation, but one more. Adani, you know, right? Adani is on shopping spree. You and me like to buy shoes. You and me like to buy clothes. He likes to buy businesses. Recently, he bought 2 cement companies. Are you aware of this? He bought 2 cement companies. He bought businesses. You understood what I said? He bought 2 cement companies. And those 2 companies are very big cement companies. Bought 2 cement companies. You understand why? He is majorly into infrastructure business. And for infrastructure business, what we require? Cement. So instead of him being dependent on others, he has acquired those companies so that he can be self-sufficient. He need not be dependent on others. You all understood this? This is where this knowledge comes into picture. In future, once you become a top management official, your supplier is creating a nuisance for you. They are not giving you timely delivery, or they are not giving you good quality product. What you can do? You can start your own business of supplying to your own self. You all understood? Start manufacturing the raw material itself. You all understood this? This is vertical backward. More about this tomorrow, but I guess I have done my job here. You all have understood this. But it can happen the other way around also. If you are a manufacturer, you can start your own distribution. That will be called as, very good, vertical forward. Patanjali has done this. Patanjali has done this. They started off with their own franchisees. You remember, Patanjali was not having distribution in earlier times in 2013-14. They did not have distribution because no distributor was ready to distribute their product. You know why? All distributors have one agreement with their main business owners that we will exclusively distribute your products. If we want to terminate our contract, if we want to go to some other company, we will have to terminate our existing arrangement, and then we'll distribute goods for the other company. Example, you are a distributor of Hindustan Unilever, and Hindustan Unilever is a very popular brand, renowned brand, more than 100 years of legacy. Patanjali is a new company. So I approach you, will you distribute my product? You say no. I ask why. No, I am into an agreement wherein if I distribute product for you, I will have to terminate the services of Hindustan Unilever, which I cannot take risk of because you are a new company. We don't know whether you will survive the next year or not. So how can I take this chance? So all the distributors said no to Patanjali. That is why Patanjali did not find any distributor. So what they did, they opened up franchises and they started distributing their own product to customer. Tell me, what is this? A manufacturer distributing their own product. This is vertical forward. You all understood? In exam, MCQ question is asked. A person who grows mangoes in village now wants to sell mangoes all by himself by opening up a shop in urban area. What sort of integration this is? If you write only vertical, no marks. Vertical, in option they will give you vertical, vertical forward, vertical backward, all of the above. It is vertical. You all understood? They can ask you as a farmer also. You are a grower, rice grower, wheat grower, this kind of questions. You all understood this? I guess this part is done. Vertical integration. The major problem of vertical integration is, it's easy to talk about, I will start this business, I will start manufacturing tires also, but there are practical challenges. You'll have to set up a factory, you'll have to hire employees, and you are in a way diverting from your main agenda. What is your main agenda? Making cars. Making tire is not your strong point. Making cars, assembling the car is your main strong point. Why are you diverting from your main business? I hope you understand. Divided attention is not good. You should have undivided attention. So practical difficulty in using this vertical integration is a problem for organizations. So it is easy to talk about, yes, we will do this, we will do that, but this requires a lot of money. This requires a lot of efforts. Organizations have been doing this. Reliance Industries has done this. They were into petrochemical business. Then they went to garments, telecom. So they have been doing this. Entertainment, retail, they have been doing this. But it is very challenging. Only if you have deep pockets, means if you have lots of money, then you can think of doing this. Adani has deep pockets because banks are giving him loans. You all understood this? This is vertical integration. Any doubts? Because this point is an overlapping concept in chapter 4. I'll have to teach you then also. But that time, I guess my efforts will be a little less. You all understood this? What is this example talking about? Product process chain. In vertical integration, what happens? This is a chain. Raw material supplier, manufacturer, distributor. It can also happen. You are a raw material supplier. Now you want to start manufacturing business. Can you do this? Yes. This is vertical forward. Because think from raw material supplier point of view. I was only supplying raw material. Now I became manufacturer. From manufacturing, I start distribution. That is again vertical forward. It can happen the other way around. Distributor starts manufacturing business. Then this is vertical. Manufacturer becoming raw material provider. Backward. You all understood this? Great. This was vertical integration. Now closely you want to write this? Tomorrow we will write this. I will discuss various types. We only discuss 2 types, vertical, that too forward, backward. Tomorrow we will discuss horizontal, concentric, conglomerate. We will discuss a lot of things tomorrow. So tomorrow you write. Tomorrow I will not read. We will only write. Closely monitoring the supplier. What is closely monitoring the supplier? Closely monitoring the supplier means you calling your supplier to your factory and telling them your raw material is essential to my production. I want 2 things from you, 2 commitments. Number 1, timely delivery of raw material. Number 2, good quality raw material. Because if you compromise on the quality of raw material, my product will not be good. It will be substandard. Number 2, if you delay, my production process gets into problem. So don't do that. If you do that, penal charges. Penal charges means penalty. You all understood this? So you try to explain to them, come, look how important you are to my organization. Please don't do this to me. Give me good quality material. Give me timely basis delivery. Then we will continue to have long-standing relations with each other. And you know, business is done on trust. It is done through trust. Imagine if Vijay Mallya comes back to India, repays all loan and applies for a fresh loan. Do you think bank will give? He has repaid everything. But still, do you think bank will give loan? No, because there is no trust now. Nobody will. Even if government of India tells bank to give loan, bank will say no. Bank will say no, you give. We will not give. You all understood? Because trust, there is loss of trust now. You all understood? That is closely monitoring the supplier. Now we'll talk about total quality management. What is total quality management? It is a Japanese concept. Total means everything. Quality means degree of excellence. Quality means degree of excellence. Best. So this is a Japanese concept which was introduced by Japanese business owners. After World War II, you know what happened with Japan? Hiroshima, Nagasaki bombing. Actually, everybody is sympathetic towards Japan, but you know only the half story. They were the ones who attacked Pearl Harbor. They attacked Pearl Harbor first. In retaliation, US did that. You all understood what I said? So they started this. They instigated this. So in retaliation, they did nuclear bombing on Hiroshima and Nagasaki. So once that happened, the entire economy collapsed. Now in 80 years time, still they were able to revive, and now they are one of the superpowers in Asia. Japan, they are respected all over the world. Why? Because they have been using this total quality management. What is this concept? This concept talks about whatever we do will be best. Otherwise, we will not do. So, in your organization, whenever you are talking to your suppliers, you will take help of good suppliers. You will enter into contract with best suppliers. you will have good distributors, best marketing agencies. So here you are focusing on degree of excellence. Well understood this. This is external linkage. What was the question? Managing linkages. Managing linkages, we have internal, external. In internal, primary, support, primary, support. External, vertical integration, closely monitoring the supplier, total quality management. You all understood? The core competence in separate activities may provide competitive advantage for an organization, but nevertheless, over time, it may be imitated by the competitor. Very important. Core competence are likely to be stronger and more difficult to imitate if they relate to management of linkages. So how well you are coordinating amongst the different activities, that will result into core competence, and it cannot be copied by competitor. Look at this internal linkage. We have three internal linkage. Linkage between primary, linkage between support, linkage between primary and support. External linkage. External is vertical integration. You were earlier manufacturing cars, now you start manufacturing tires also. So more number of products entering into your value chain. You remember value chain? In value chain, operations is one of the activities of primary. Earlier you were only manufacturing car, now you manufacture tire and car. So more number of products are added into the value chain. Look at this. Firms attempt to improve performance through ownership of more parts of value system, making more linkages internal. So now once you do vertical integration, tire is made by you only. So you are no longer dependent on outsider. So for tire, it is internal now. It has become internal. No longer dependent on outsiders. Then closely monitoring the supplier. You control the performance of supplier. You tell them, give me good quality. Otherwise, we will charge penalty. Give me timely basis delivery. Otherwise, we will charge penalty. By applying the concept of total quality management through close working relationship. I want everything to be done best, specialist. You all understood this? This is value chain analysis. Now let's talk about the last concept. What was the first concept that we studied in this chapter? Competitive landscape. After that, portfolio analysis. Then value creation, globalization, competitive strategy, strategic analysis, core competence, competitive advantage, value chain analysis. Now the last part, methods of industry and competitive analysis. Methods of industry and competitive analysis. Let's start. For this, I need to take again an hypothetical example. I will take one hypothetical example, no problems. Let's say you want to start a business. You all want to start a business. You come to me. I am your consultant, advisor, well-wisher, whatever you want to call me. You come to me and you tell me, I want to start a business, but I am a little confused. I am a little confused as to which business should I start with. I said, okay, what is the confusion? You said, I feel sometimes I should start construction business, real estate. Sometimes I feel I should start gems and jewelry business. Sometimes I feel I should start apparel business. So I'm confused between three businesses. Which three businesses? Construction business, gems and jewelry business, and apparel business. I said, okay, what do you want me to do? How may I help you? So you said you do analysis for all the three industries and then you decide. Then you as a business owner will decide which business is good for you to continue and which business you will ignore. So this particular concept helps you understand the methods you have to undertake to analyze what? Analyze the industry. Analyze what? Analyze the industry. So here we are going to study how to analyze the industry. So where we have different methods for what? Industry and competitive analysis. But before we start with our discussion, let us try to understand what do you mean by industry? What do you mean by industry? Automobile industry is an example of industry, okay. But I want to know the meaning of industry. It is a group of firm, partially correct, not completely correct, but halfway there. It is a group of firm which provides similar kind of services. Okay, again, not complete. She gave a good example, but that was an example. Very good. Same field. Okay, okay, same field. Organizations which are operating in the same field, that is automobile sector is one of the examples. Okay, good. Group of firms selling similar kind of a product who are in the same field. Okay, but that is incomplete. Who said this? Very good, very good. Targeting the same customer, targeting the same market. Now it is complete. What is an industry? An industry is a group of firms selling similar kind of goods or services and targeting same customers or buyers. You all understood this? Automobile sector, insurance sector, banking sector. You can also call this as industry. Automobile industry, banking industry, insurance industry. All these are industries wherein individual companies will be competitors. They will be competing against each other for the same customer, but collectively it is called as industry. So don't you think so? Before you start your business, you should know about the particular industry, whether that particular industry is profitable or it is not profitable. That industry requires large sum of capital, less sum of capital, whether that industry requires lot of government approvals or less government approvals. Let's say you want to start a bank. Do you think banking license is easy to get? Lot of approvals, government of India also, RBI also. Then only you will be able to start with a bank. Otherwise, banking business is a very profitable business. Very profitable business. But people being cheated through informal credit is also very high. So that is why RBI is very careful when giving licenses. They will not give license to me. For them, they have set criteria. So you need to check. If you want to start any business, you'll have to check the profitability of the industry, the government rules, regulations, capital requirement, all such factors, the risk, all such factors you will analyze. Then you can come and do this particular business in the industry. So this particular method talks about how to analyze industry. We have 7 points to study. How many points? 7. I will teach you 4. What about other 3? In fact, I will teach you 5. 2 you will study by yourself. But 4 I will teach you here in this chapter. 1 I will teach you in chapter number 5. Will I be able to recollect those missed points? Yes, I will. You remember in chapter number 1, there was one definition. What was the definition? Strategic management definition. I told you it is pending. We will do it when we reach chapter 3, page 100. So don't worry, we will do it. I remember. Okay. So industry and competitive analysis. The basis of this discussion is you want to start a business, but you are confused whether you should start construction business, gems and jewelry business, apparel business, garments business. You are confused. So you come to me and you ask me for my guidance. What I do, I carry out industry analysis and I submit report for all the 3 industries. Then you decide whether you want to do business in that industry or you don't want to do. It is your choice. But I will submit a report stating the attractiveness or unattractiveness of that particular industry. You understood the background of this discussion? Yes. So now methods. How many methods we have? 7. How many? 7. 7 methods. D I S E. Did I see? Did I see? First point. Dominant economic features of an industry. Dominant economic features of the industry. What do you mean by this? Here we will be looking at 14 points. Here we will be looking at 14 points which discusses the characteristics, the important characteristics which we need to take into consideration before deciding whether we should enter into this industry or not. It is also called as key industry traits. Traits means qualities. Key industry qualities that you should be paying attention to. We have to look at 14 different points. How many points? 14. In examination condition, this point individually can be asked. Discuss the key industry traits for industry and competitive analysis for 5 marks. And you'll write all 14 points. Single sentence, 14 points. But you'll have to write all 14. You'll understood the first point, at least the gist. We will discuss those 14 points in a while. Dominant economic features means important characteristics of that industry. What are the important points that you will take into consideration? This is your first point. Second point, intensity of competition. In our book, I have written there nature and strength. You know why I have written nature and strength? Because our institute has written nature and strength, but in the same point they have mentioned as intensity of competition also. So you may write nature and strength or you may write intensity, not a problem. Why I wrote intensity? Because I wanted a vowel there to make that did I see. That is why. So intensity of competition, this we will do when we study chapter 5. So write in pencil there P chapter 5. Don't worry, when we do chapter 5, this will be over. I will tell you that this is done. Number 3, drivers to change. In our book, it is written as triggers of change. Drivers to change, you can write as triggers of change. In book, it is written as triggers of change. 4th point. If I can talk about this, see if you can understand this statement that I just made. Over the years, business has not changed, but the way of doing business has changed. Why? Because our environment is dynamic. So before demonetization, I used to carry a lot of cash in my wallet. But after demonetization, and especially after COVID, I have zero cash in my wallet. I make payment only through Google Pay. Even if it is for 10 rupees, I will use Google Pay. So don't you think so? Business has not changed. People still take payments, make payments, but they don't use hard cash. They use plastic money, digital wallets. You all understood this? 15 years ago, 10 years ago, you wanted to buy any clothes, you wanted to buy any shoes, what you used to do? You used to go to the shop, try it, if you like it, make the payment, come home, wear it every day. But now today what you do? You order everything online. You try at home. If you like it, you keep it. If you don't like it, return. You all understood? Business has not changed. They are still selling the product. We are still buying the product. But the way of doing business has changed. This has happened. So as a business owner, don't you think so? You have to think about the triggers. What are the factors that resulted into this change of behavior? Demonetization was the trigger of change. Offline to online was a trigger because of COVID. You all understood what I'm trying to say? From offline to online, many businesses which were only physical shifted to digital during COVID era. So that was also trigger of change. China plus 1 is also one factor, trigger of change for what? COVID. You all understood this? Because over dependency on one particular country is bad for business. That is why they are searching for alternatives. You all understood this? This can have an impact on your business also. That is why triggers of change. We will discuss this. 4th point is my favorite point. Identifying the strongest and weakest company. We call this as SGM, strategic group mapping. We call this as strategic group mapping. Here what happens when there are a lot of industry participants, meaning when there are a lot of competitors, you cannot study each competitor because many competitors. So what do? You group them into similar positions. And then you study the entire group. You all understood this? For example, you want to start off with a TV channel. You tell me, you come and tell me, I want to start a TV channel, do competitor analysis for me. Now you tell me, as an individual, there are so many television channels, so many different categories of television channels. We have news channel, sports channel, kids channel, movie channel, music channel, so many channels. As a consultant, I will tell you that I will not be able to help you in this because there are too many competitors and each having different customer. News is generally seen by matured audience. Kids channel is seen by senior citizens or 15 years below kids. Sports, everyone, depends on the type of sports. Football, cricket, hockey, tennis, whatever is the interest. But we have limited audience. Movies, very few people watch. Music, few people. So we have different category here. So we cannot study this in detail. You be specific and you tell me what sort of television channel you want to start with. You tell me, I want to start kids channel. Now I can do analysis for you. You know why? Because now I can study the age group of below 15 and above 16. And I know which channels. Pogo, Nickelodeon, Disney A, no, Sony A, Hangama, Cartoon Network, the evergreen Cartoon Network. I don't know. Which channel? Okay, I don't know that maybe. Five channels I can think of. But kids are curious also. So these five were direct competitors. You know the indirect competitor, sports channel. Students watch sports, infotainment, Discovery, National Geography, Animal Planet. You remember all this? You used to watch when you were young. History, yes, history also. All these are indirect competitors. I will do analysis for you now because I know who is your target audience. You all understood this? So this helps you in doing this. We will study this. I will give you example of Poco mobiles here. I will give you example of Poco. Poco. Someone searched here about Poco yesterday. Yes. We will talk about Poco mobiles in SGM. You understood these 4 points at least? Did I? What was the first point? Dominant economic feature of the industry. I, intensity of competition. D, drivers to change. I, identifying the strongest and weakest. Fifth point. Likely moves of rival. Something like that will be written in our book. I write here strategic moves of rivals, right? Likely moves of rivals. We write strategic moves of rivals. Examining the key success factors. Key success factors. In our book, only key success factor is written. Strategic moves of rival means what the competitor is likely to do next. Strategic moves of rival means what my competitor is likely to do next. For telecom companies, we all know what the competitor is going to do next after 4G comes. So even you and me know that after 4G, in some time next year, they will start with 5G. That is something which we know. But as a businessman, you should be a step ahead of your competitor. You should know what my competitor will do in a particular situation. You should be prepared. If you go unprepared in the competitive battle, you will lose. You should not go blind in the competitive battle. You should be aware what your competitor is likely to do next. That is covered in point number 5. For that, you need one intelligence. What intelligence? Competitive intelligence. Very good, very good. You need competitive intelligence to know more about your competitors. That is why this will be your SS. Very easy point. Point number 7. Oh, I did not talk about key success factor. What is key success factor? Factors which are critical to the success of the industry. For example, you want to buy a cell phone today. You want to buy a cell phone today. Tell me what are the features you are looking at. Very good. Storage, processor, RAM, battery life, fast charging, AMOLED screen, wide display, thin, slim, camera. Anyone here talking about affordability, or is it only me who talks about affordability in all the batches? I can't pay 1 lakh rupee for a phone. For sure, I will not pay. Never in my life. I've seen my days. No, 1 lakh rupee phone for sure. I will not be able to carry that phone. Affordability, I will check. So 7 to 8 features we will surely check. Processor, RAM, dual camera resolution, battery life, AMOLED screen, affordability, slim, anything else that I missed? Basically, these are the features. Imagine I start mobile business and I start offering feature phones. I start offering, will you buy? No. So before I start the business, it is bound to fail. Why? Because I am not giving those features which are relevant in today's time. That is called as key success factors. Factors which are critical, key, critical to the success of the industry, and every participant should have this. Imagine if you start your mobile business, mobile manufacturing and selling business. Don't you think so? You will have to give all this to the customer. Then only customer will think of buying. Forget about buying. They will think of buying if you give these features. If you don't give these features, will they buy? No. You all understood what I just said? Sure. So that is key success factor. 7th point. 7th point. Evaluating the financial attractiveness and industry prospects. Evaluating the attractiveness and industry prospects. Now, what do you mean by this? This is the concluding point. After studying all the 6 points, we will come to a logical conclusion whether should we start with this business or we should not start with this business. So here we will talk about the attractiveness or unattractiveness. Honestly speaking, attractiveness is a subjective term, relative term. For you, something may be attractive, for me, not attractive. For a well-established company, 15% return on investment is a good return on investment. But for a startup company, that 15% is nothing because they have burnt 90% of their cash. You all understood? So attractiveness is a subjective term, relative term. For a well-established company, attractiveness is different because established, right? They have nothing to lose. They are already a big player, cash cow, high market share, low expense. But for a startup company who has spent a lot of money, for them, attractiveness will be different. So you need to evaluate that. But that will be done only when you study the first 6 points. Well understood this. Now we can start with our answer. Tell me, what was the question? Methods of industry and competitive analysis. What are the 7 points that we'll have to discuss? Did I see dominant economic features of the industry? Before I start with the answer, I will tell you which 4 are very important from examination point of view. But you will study all 7. But I'll tell you the 4 important ones so that you study it the best. First one, third one, fourth one, sixth one. 4.1, 4.3, 4.4, 4.6 in our textbook if you are referring to our textbook. I repeat, 4.1 that is dominant economic features of the industry. 4.3 that is triggers to change or drivers of change. Identifying the strongest and weakest company, that is strategic group mapping, identifying the strongest and weakest companies. And then KSF, key success factors. Okay. Now let's start. First point, dominant economic features of the industry. What is industry? Group of firms selling similar kind of a product, targeting similar kind of a buyers, customers, buyers, methods. Yes, we got our methods of industry and methods of industry and competitive analysis. What is industry? We start with our discussion of what is industry. Group of firms whose products have same or similar attributes. Attributes means features, such that they compete for the same buyers. I gave here one telecom industry example. You can think of any other example also. These are the points which we will discuss now. So let's not read this. This is important. This analysis that we do now will provide us a way of thinking strategically about industries' overall situation. You will come to know about industries' overall situation and you will be able to draw. You will be able to take a well-informed decision as to whether you should invest your hard-earned money in this industry or not. Well understood this. That is the whole point of studying this. You will be able to do industry analysis. What sort of analysis you have already studied? Competitor analysis, portfolio analysis, strategic analysis, and now this analysis. So this chapter, 4 concepts are based on analysis. So 4.1, that is dominant economic feature of the industry. It is called as key industry traits, qualities, features. This is an introduction, guys. Here, read what is given. Every industry is different. Some require more capital, some require less capital, some require more rules, regulations to be followed, some require less, some require a lot of approval, few require very few approval. So every industry will differ in their basic character and structure. So we need to study about dominant economic features. Dominant means most important features. How many points? 14 points, and you need to remember all the 14 points for me. Will you be able to do so? Yes. What is the first point? Look at this, one sentence. Size and nature of market. You tell me India's population. 140 crores and counting. 2011 was the last census. Census happen every 10 years, but because of COVID, it did not happen last year. But I'm pretty much sure we have crossed 140 crores. It is good for the country. You know why? For businessmen, it is an opportunity. And you know, majority of the youth falls in this category. Which category? Working population category. That is why in the next 10 years, India is set to be shifting from developing to developed, and we will be developed in 10 years from now. Why? Because of the youth population that we have, working population we have. All developed countries have become old. Their population working force is now old. That is why you see all the developed countries are asking, come foreign workers, come work for us. Have you seen this trend lately? Lot of immigration happening. Immigration, you understand, right? People going from India to some other countries for work, for settlement purposes, because their workforce is now old. That is why they are inviting. So the size and nature of market, you understood size? India is a big market. So if you want to do business in India, is it a good dominant economic feature? Yes. Why foreign companies want to do business in India? India is a huge market, spending population. We like to spend. Number two, very important point, number of buyers and their size. Number of buyer means what? Whom you are trying to sell, B2B or B2C. B2C, very big market. B2B, few customers, but large quantity. You all understood? This is how you should think. So B2B or B2C. Number three, competitors and their market share. If you want to enter into real estate business, who will be your competitor? What is their market share? If you want to enter into gems and jewelry, who will be your competitors? What will be their market share? If you want to enter into apparels, who will be your competitors? What will be their market share? First 3 points. Fourth point, now this is integration of concepts. That is why you should study portfolio analysis first. You remember market growth rate? Where we studied this? BCG. Market growth, high or low. And we also studied PLC in portfolio analysis. If the industry is in maturity phase or decline phase, will you enter into business? No. Growth phase? Yes. So you check the industry's phase of life cycle, whether it is in growing stage. If it is growing stage, we will enter. Otherwise, we will not enter. See written here, market growth rate. What is the growth rate of market and the position in business life cycle? And the position in business life cycle. How many points? 4. Fifth point, what is the scope of rivalry? The business that you want to do. Domino's has international presence. Yes or no? Yes. Similarly, in burger business, McDonald's, Burger King has international presence. There is one company, I don't know if you are aware of this, one of the students only told me, Burger Singh. Have you heard of this company's name? Burger Singh. Burger Singh is also competing globally. So who will be your competitor? Do research, you will come to know. Immediately you should check the Google and search for Burger Singh. You will find a web page. I can't do it, you do it if you want to. But you understood what I said? Who will be your competitor? Whether the competition will be regional, national, global. So McDonald's and Burger King are global competitors, right? So if you want to start a construction business, so will you be doing construction activity in your locality, in your city, in your state, in your country, or all over the world? So you need to decide what will be the rivalry scope, because the bigger you want to become, the challenges you will face. The competition, intensity of competition will be high. These are the 5 points. What was the first point? Size and nature of the market. Number 2, number of buyers and their market size. Number 3, number of rivals and their market share. Number 4, market growth rate and the position in the business life cycle. Number 5, scope of competitive rivalry. Number 6, the type of distribution channel. What do you mean by type of distribution channel? How are you going to make the product available to the customer? Only online, only physical, combination of 2. We call this as hybrid. What you want? All good companies have combination. They have physical presence also, they have online presence also, and more importantly, they have exclusive stores also. You know, exclusive stores, only your brand will be sold there. Exclusive stores. Other retailers will keep the product, but if you want to buy one particular brand, that particular brand is having their own exclusive store also. You all understood this? Seventh point, the pace of technological change. How quickly is the technology changing relating to your business? It may be relating to the product. It may also be relating to the production process. Earlier, you used to manufacture your product through hand. Now you use machine. So is there a change in the production methodology? Yes. Why? Because of technological changes. You all understood? This is the 7th point. The pace. Pace means speed. Pace means speed. You all understood this? 7 points. Out of 14, we have completed 7. Can you tell me the first point? Size and nature of market. Number 2. Number of buyers and their. Number 3. Number of rivals and their market share. Number 4. Market growth rate and position of life cycle. Number scope of competitive rivalry. Number 6. Types of distribution channel. Number 7. Pace of technological. So dominant economic features, 7 points completed. Let's talk about the remaining 7. 8. Whether a particular product that you are selling or you are going to sell, is it same or different? For example, Poco Mobiles launched their mobile phones. Do you think it was different? No, it was identical. If Harmony, Huawei launches their Harmony mobile phones, then we can say it is different. So the product or services that you are going to give, is it differentiated or identical? The product or services. This is your 8th point. 9th point. Now challenge comes here. Students remember the first 7 to 8 points. They forget the remaining 4, 5. So please pay attention. 8th point was whether the products or services are identical or differentiated. 9th point. What is the 9th point talking about? 9th point talks about whether the organization can achieve economies of scale. What is economies of scale? Benefits of large scale production. You need to check whatever business you are going to do. Does it have high demand? Can this be sold at bulk? If this can be sold at bulk, then you will manufacture in bulk so that the cost comes down. So whether the organization can realize economies of scale. 10th point, I call this as cluster. What is cluster? Group. Very good. Very good. I give you one example. Let's say you want to start a business. You have 2 options. You want to open up a store. You have 2 options. Open up a store in a mall or open up a store in a remote area. Which one will you choose? Mall. Why? More number of footfalls. More number of people see your shop. More number of customers coming to your shop. Similarly, if you want to set up a business, you need to see cluster, whether industry participants are assembled in a particular location, whether the industry participants are assembled in a particular location. All IT businesses are located in Bangalore, IT hub, right? All manufacturing companies located where? Noida. Why? Raw material easily accessible. Well understood? All banks head office located where? Mumbai. You understood why? Financial capital. You all understood this? This is the reason why. Because if we are in a group, more customers will come and see us. If more customers sees us, chances of we getting more sales, more business. That is the reason why. Where we get more customers, in a vegetable market or a person who's selling on a cart, vegetable market, because majority of the customers go there. You understood? So where is more business? Market. You understood what I just said? So you need to think whether the key industry participants are assembled in a particular location. What was the 8th point? We can, yes, we can see whether the product is identical or differentiated. Next, whether can you realize economies of scale. Number 3, you cannot write cluster in exam. Whether a particular business you want to be located in a particular location is assembled in a particular location. Cluster for your reference, not to use it in exam. 11th and 12th, students get confused. So I will remove the confusion. 11th point is for labor intensive market. What is labor intensive? Where we use humans for production activity. For example, Bata, you are aware of Bata brand, right? They use cobblers. Cobblers will stitch the shoes for Bata and then they will hand it over to Bata. Job worker we call them. They perform a job. Once the job is done, they will hand over the product to the main company. They are the job work. Labor intensive. Therein, initially, one cobbler will take 2 days to make shoes. Initially. Means in a week, they are making 3 shoes. 6 days a week. 6 days working week. But as you gain experience, do you think they will make only 3 shoes in a week? They will make 6 shoes, 12 shoes, 18 shoes. So what is this? Experience curve. So if you are thinking of entering into labor intensive business, you need to think, can our workers achieve this experience curve? Because this will help us in reducing our cost. You remember, right? As the cumulative production increases, cost decreases. So this is reference to labor intensive. Look at this. Certain activities are characterized by strong learning and experience effect. Unit cost decline as cumulative output grows. The next one. Next one is for machines. Next one is for machine-oriented activities. What is machine-oriented activities? For example, you want to manufacture a product and that product manufacturing requires machine. Initially, the demand for your product will be high or low? Low, because no one is aware of you. Customer is not aware about your product, so the demand will be low. But you know that in order to reduce the cost, you need to manufacture in large quantity. So this is the point. Whether high rate of capacity utilization is crucial to achieving low cost production efficiency. In the beginning, you will have to strike a balance. You will not manufacture 100% of your capacity. You know why? Because there is no demand for your product. You will only manufacture as per the demand. Let's say you will manufacture 30% of the quantity. But will your cost be low then? No. Your cost will be low when you manufacture 100%. So what you should do? Should you manufacture 100%? No. Unnecessary increase in cost. Unnecessary piling up of stock. You understand piling up, right? You are storing the cost. Unnecessarily you are increasing your storage cost. That is not good for business. So you need to strike a balance. Should I compromise on the number of units to manufacture or should I compromise on the cost per unit? What is your choice? You need to choose. Think before you start the business. That is what this point is talking about. What is it? Whether high rate of capacity utilization is required to reduce the cost, to achieve cost efficiency. Cost efficiency means reduction in cost. 13th point, a simple point. Students don't find this difficult. What is the capital required? Whether high capital is required or low. If low capital is required, many competitors after you will also enter. But if high capital is required, initially very few competitors will enter. Those who have the money will enter, otherwise no one will enter. You all understood this. 14, sorry. Industry profitability is above or below par. Whether the industry in which you are planning to enter, are they making profits or they are not making profits? You all understood this. 8 to 14. Please give me 8 to 14. Whether the product and services are identical or different. You can look at the screen and answer. I don't want you to remember now, but at least try to spell out. Next, whether they can realize economies of scale. Next, 10 points. Yes, whether the key industry participants are assembled at a particular location. 10 points. 11th point. 11th and 12th are similar. Whether, yes, for labor intensive. Whether the industry can you gain strong learning curve benefits. This will result into you lowering your cost. Next, high rates of capacity utilization is required to reduce your cost for low cost efficiency. 30. What is the capital requirement? Is an entry of exit. Means how easily you can enter, how easily you can get out. If a business is in locking period, you cannot get out of the business for 15 years. It is not a good business to do it. If you take government assistance, example, let's say you take government assistance and government has told you for 15 years you are not allowed to get out of the business. Is there ease of exit? There is no ease of exit. But when you started the business, you were in need of money, so you took help of government. Now government has every right to tell you what to do, what not to do. You all understood this? That is 14th point, 13th point, 15th point. Sorry, 14th point. Industry profitability above or below par. You all understood this? Now 14 points for me without looking at the screen. There is nothing to look at. If you stop, I will start. So let's start. First point. Size and nature of market. Number 2. Number of buyers and their size. Number 3. Number of rivals and their market share. Number 4. Market growth rate and the position in business life cycle. Number 5. Scope of competitive rivalry. 6. Types of distribution channels. Pace of technological change. Product or services are identical or differentiated. Whether the organization can realize economies of scale. 9, 10. Whether the organization is assembled in a particular location. Next. Can you take advantage of learning curve? Next. High rate of capacity utilization required for low cost production efficiency. Next to capital requirements, ease of entry and exit. And last, industry profitability above or below par. Make sure you revise this within a week, otherwise you will forget. 14 points done. Intensity of competition is something which we will not study now, but we will study in chapter number 5. You write there, so that when you are revising and doing self-study, you will be able to recollect at the time of chapter 5. Okay. This will be erased from my book because I don't save changes, but you will have it in your book, write it in pencil. Now let's talk about drivers of change or triggers of change. I already told you about this. Over the years, business has not changed, but the way of doing business has changed. Our business works in an environment, and our environment is dynamic. If customers' taste and preferences change, environmental factors change, we have to adopt to the change. So if we are able to adopt to the changes, we will be able to be successful, survive the competition. If we are not able to adapt to changes, we will perish, we will fail. So all factors that bring about a change are not important, but those which bring about the change are called as driving forces. They are called as driving forces. They are the ones whom you should pay attention to. COVID was a driving force. From offline to online, many businesses, they did not have digital presence, they did not have online presence. But after COVID, they have realized that physical business is good, but physical and digital both are excellent. Well understood? Before demonetization, nobody realized the importance of plastic money. After demonetization, after COVID, people realized the importance of plastic money. Well understood this. Similarly, increasing globalization, increased use of internet. You and me are aware of internet, how we can place orders over internet. So that is a good thing for businesses. That is a driving force. Every business now has their application. You can order online directly through their app. Yes. So this is triggers of change. Look at this. All industries are characterized by trends and new developments that produce changes. So there is change happening in the environment. And this requires a response from us. If you are doing business, you need to observe the changes and act accordingly. You cannot say, no, I will not have online presence. You cannot say, I will not accept digital payments. The first thing that I do, I go to any shop, I ask, Google Pay will do, then I will make payment. Otherwise, I change the shop. What else to do? Because I don't carry cash. You all understood? So it is up to us. We should embrace the change. These changes will force the strategists to change their business plan to adjust to the changes in the business environment. This change, either individual or group, is understood as triggers of change. Look at this. All triggers are not powerful. All changes are not material. But those which are material are called as drivers to change. And look at driving forces. These are the factors which has led to the change, that are driving forces. These are the ones that has led to change. Industry and competitive conditions change because forces are in motion that create incentive or pressure for change. What is incentive? Opportunity. What is pressure? Threats. So if you are able to change, it is an opportunity. If you are not able to change, it can cause a threat. So these are few examples, guys. Yeah. Here we have written some examples. In exams, I have seen they ask you, write a short note on triggers of change with few examples. So if they tell you write few examples, then write few examples here. I will write this first point, globalization. Because of this, all foreign companies are coming and doing business in India. The Indian companies also have to provide good services. Then I will write this internet. I like to blame everything on internet, right? The internet and e-commerce. I will also write this digital marketing. Mamaearth is the best example of digital marketing and marketing innovation. They are using social market and affiliate marketing. Social marketing, don't worry, we will study in chapter 6. I will tell you. There are 13 techniques which I will teach you. Marketing techniques. I know it is not your field, but it's good to know about other departments also, so that others are aware that you know a little of their department. Well, understood these drivers of change or triggers of change. Now, the most important part, identifying the strongest and weakest companies, strategic group mapping. I have already told you about this. You want to start with a television channel, then we can do analysis. If you tell me you want to start with television channel, I can't tell you how to do analysis. But if you tell me you want to start with kids channel, I can tell you what to do, because now it is a group, strategic group. Look at this. A strategic group consists of those rival firms which have similar competitive approaches and positions in the market. A strategic group consists of those rival firms which have similar competitive approaches and positions. Kids channel. Same strategies. When I was young, I used to watch one cartoon on Cartoon Network. We had that 5 o'clock Pokemon. I don't know if you all know this. And we also had after that Beyblade. Are you aware of all this? Maybe that was the time when I used to watch cartoon. Beyblade and Pokemon. Me and my brother used to watch. If you did not watch, it's okay. No problems. So all good cartoons used to come at that time, 5 to 6. That was the prime time for us. Just after school, before going to tuitions, 5 to 6. And that same will be telecasted again late night and early morning. So while going school also we used to watch. That was a bribe that my parents used to give me. If you study, you will be allowed to watch that. So that is strategic group. All good cartoon shows used to come during that time, 5 to 6. Group. Same strategies used by all animated shows channel. Now, read this. The next step in examining the industry's competitive structure is to study the market position of rival companies. You need to study about the competitor. Identifying the strongest and weakest companies will help understand the techniques that can be implemented. What the competitors are doing, what they are good at, what they are not good at. Somewhat like competitive landscape. One technique for revealing the competitive position of industry participant is strategic group mapping. Now I have to teach you this. The procedure for constructing a strategic group mapping. Procedure means steps. Procedure means steps. But for this, I need your help. Name few telecom companies for me. I want only 6, not more than 6. So be selective in your answers. Telecom companies I want. No, sorry, I want mobile manufacturing company. Sorry. Okay, as expected, iPhone. Okay, Samsung. Give me good companies. Whom? Samsung, iPhone, I understand. Micromax is not operational. Are they operational? You know the owner of Micromax, Rahul Shako, you use it. Okay. Owner of Micromax married Asim. Are you aware of this? You are not aware of this? Then it's okay. You know, that's good. iPhone, Samsung, Oppo. Oh, OnePlus. How can I forget? I have OnePlus. I guess 5 is enough. 5 is enough. No, it's okay. It's okay. 5 is enough, I guess. Okay. Now, let's say you are generally, whenever this kind of analysis happens, there is a lot of confidentiality built around this. Nobody will disclose the company's name for which we want to do this. They will make us sign the agreements, but I have taken permission because that is something which happened few years back. Okay, so we did not realize this when this was happening, that the owners are the owners of Poco Mobiles. I talk about Poco Mobiles now. So they came to us and they told us we want to analyze the competition. How can we analyze the competition? So we gave them few options and they said, no, we want to find out the strongest and the weakest group. We want to find out the strongest and weakest group. Which business should we enter into? We are confused. So we said, okay, we will help you. We will do strategy group mapping for you. So we are making strategy group mapping for mobile phone business. For mobile phone business, we are doing strategy group mapping. We ask them one simple question. On what basis you want us to do this strategy group mapping? It can be done on various factors. I'm writing few factors for you. It can be done on the basis of price and quality. It can be done on the basis of price and product line breadth. It can also be done on the basis of price and distribution channel. So these are various ways you can undertake strategy group mapping. So we asked them, on what basis you want to undertake this strategy group mapping? What they said we want to do this on the basis of price and product line breadth. Now, price and product line breadth means what? Price and product line breadth means on one axis we will write price, and on the other axis we will write number of models launched by that particular company. Few models or many models. Few models or many. In technical terms, we call this as narrow and wide. Few models means narrow, many models means wide. Slowly you will start understanding this. So we said, okay, we will do this for you, no problems. But they made us sign one agreement, confidentiality agreement and all such things, which we generally have to sign. So I am writing the steps here for you as to what steps we undertook, and simultaneously I will draw the real diagram. Again, this can be a little changed now because market share and other things keep on changing. The number of models, the price range and other factors keep on changing. But you'll get a fair idea as to how to do this in real life. The first thing, what is the first step? The first step is identify the competitive characteristic. To be very honest, we have very limited role in this. Identify the competitive characteristic. First step is generally something which we ask our clients. What is this competitive characteristic? Competitive characteristic means this. On what basis you want me to carry out this SGM? So they will tell us. It can be on the basis of price and quality. I'll give you an example of price and quality. Theater, they charge very high price, but whatever they give me to eat at theater is not good. So price is high, quality is poor. Mercedes, BMW, Audi, price is high, quality is high. Maruti, Tata Motors, price is low, quality high. All Chinese companies, price low, quality low. You all understood how it is done? Now here, price and product line breadth we are talking about. So we asked that company, on what basis you want to carry out this activity. So they said we want to carry this activity out on the basis of price and number of models, that is product line breadth. So what is our competitive characteristic? Price, product line, breadth. Price and product line, breadth. This is our competitive characteristic. Second step. Plot the variable on two variable map. Plot the variables. What do you mean by variables? X-axis and Y-axis. We need to plot that. So on a piece of paper, we will plot this. On Y-axis, we wrote price. On X-axis, for simplicity purposes, we are writing number of models. It is written as product line breadth. And we also plotted something else. High, medium, low. High priced phones, that is above 50,000. Medium price 20,000 to 49,999. Below 20,000, low. Number of models. Few, many. Few means narrow. At one point in time, they will launch only one model. Many model means lot of options will be given, lot of options. Same price range, you have three options. You can buy this, you can buy this, you can buy that. That is wide. You understood this second point. What was the first point? Identify the competitive characteristics. Number two, plot the variable either on a graph or on a map. You call this as map, you call this as graph. It is one and the same thing for me. Okay. On a two variable graph, you call this. Number three, now this is where I need your assistance. Assign the firms. Now assign the firms. What do you mean by assign? Think of this iPhone. Now you tell me iPhone. It is charged at high price. Where is my diagram? Yes, this is high price. And at one point of time, they launch many models or few models. So can I say iPhone will come here? You all understood this? Any doubts here? Now you talk about Oppo. You tell me Oppo will come under? Majority of the phone is affordable, low priced, right? And they give lots of options. Oh. Same goes with Samsung is an unique company. You know why? Samsung sells very good. They sell expensive phones, premium. They sell mid-range phones, and they also sell affordable phones. You know why they sell affordable phones? Initially, their competitors were Nokia, and Nokia users were affordable customers. So they need to be in every segment. Yes, you need to have all kinds of customer. For Samsung, everyone is their customer. So Samsung premium segment, few models. Middle, mid, average, few. But when it comes to low price phones, they have to offer lot of options. OnePlus generally comes here. Correct me if I'm wrong. OnePlus comes under middle category, few models. They don't give much option at one time. I may be wrong. Correct me if I'm wrong. You all understood this? We are assigning the firm based on the graph. And last is we will draw circles. We will draw circles, and those circles, draw circles, and these circles will represent group market share. We will draw circles, and these circles will represent group market share. Now, what do you mean by this? This is my first circle. This is my second circle. And this is my third circle. What do you understand from this? I will tell you the basic understanding. This is one particular group. You understood this is one particular group. Mid-range phones, few models. Mid-range phones, few models. We have two competitors here, Samsung and OnePlus. What is their market share? Such a tiny market share, small market share, which means what? Customers are not present here. There are very few customers present here because market share denotes the total market share of the group. Here, more than this segment means people prefer to go for high-end phones as compared to mid-range phones. So here we have high customers paying good amount of money for phones, but the circle is again not as big as we expected. But look at this. This is which group? Low price, multiple options. Low price, lot of options to customer. This is the biggest circle. Where is the target audience? Where is the customer? Where is the most customer? This is the category where we have lot of customers. So we gave this to Poco Mobiles. Poco Mobiles decided it's no point doing business here because the market is so small. No point competing with these giants because nobody knows us. So the better efforts will be here because here is the main chunk of market. You all understood this? This is why Poco Mobiles entered into this segment. I don't know if you know this, but Poco Mobiles is a sister concern of MI. You all understood this? In fact, why they do this? To change the perception of the customer. I'll tell you this, you might be aware of this because this batch is brilliant. Oppo, Vivo, OnePlus, same parent company. Yes. I knew this, you know, BBK Electronics. But why three different companies, three different names? Positioning of the product. If a customer wants to buy expensive mid-range phone, a little over 25,000-30,000 phone, Oppo, Vivo, oh, that phone is not expensive, it doesn't go with the image. So in order to change the perception of the customer, launch a new company with a different name, OnePlus. Parent company is the same. You understood? For product positioning. In fact, Volkswagen, you know Volkswagen, they have so many car companies, right? Why? Because of this. Do some research, you'll come to know majority of the companies that they own are luxurious premium segment cars. But very few people know it. But it's good to know that you know this. You all understood this? This is SGM, strategic group mapping. What are the steps for strategic group mapping? Simple. Now you understand. You ask the client itself, on what basis you want me to do this? That is called as competitive characteristics. In my example, it was price and product line breadth. Second step, plot the variable. Third, assign the firms. Fourth, those circles will represent market share of the group. You understood? Look at this. Now you will be comfortably through this. Identify the competitive characteristics. Which one I used? Price and product line. But you can use any of this. Ultimately, it all depends on client, what he wants. See here, distribution channel is also there. Quality and price is also there. So it's up to them what they want. Because it should be useful for them. Number two, plot the variables on a two variable map. Assign the firms that fall in the same strategy space. And four, draw circles, but remember these circles will be proportional to size of the group's share. Well understood this. We have finished this. This you will study by yourself. In fact, while introducing the concept, only I explained to you this. You should be aware of what your competitor is likely to do next. Be aware. Don't go blind in the competitive battle, otherwise you will lose. And here you will lose a lot. So you don't want to do that. So you need to have competitive intelligence. See, you read, you will come to know whatever I just said. This is important. Do you remember what is key success factor? Factors which are critical to the success of the industry. Let's say you want to start a mobile phone business, but before starting the mobile phone business, you should know what the customers want. One last time, can you tell me the features that a customer looks for? Okay, thank you very much. Someone at least said affordability. Otherwise, I am the one who's only talking about affordability. Processor. I will write whatever I can think of quickly, then you tell me, did I miss something? Eight points I have written. Look at this. AMOLED screen for especially for students who are into playing games. I don't know if you are into playing games or not, but yes, it's good, very good usage. Student only told me, I have no knowledge of this. Battery life, affordability, processor, RAM, camera, storage. It should be slim. Okay, anything else? No. So these are the requirement of today's generation. So if someone wants to start a mobile phone business and comes and tells me I want to start a business, what features I should give? I will tell them minimum these features should be there in your product. Then only you think of entering in this business. Otherwise you will fail. Otherwise you will. This is the minimum requirement. If it is there, then you can survive. But if it is not there, don't start. Don't start. Or if you have already started and you are not giving these, adopt, change. Otherwise, you will be thrown out of the market. Nokia, this happened with Nokia, right? You adopt, but you don't adopt, you will be thrown out of the market. You understood this? This is what is key success factor. Read this. These are the key elements that affect the ability of a firm's industry to prosper. They are those things that affect the industry's members' ability to prosper in the marketplace between success and failure. If you have these components with you, you will be successful. If you don't have it, you will not be successful. So these are a few examples. I have already explained to you the examples. This is important. Very, very, very important. Read this with me. KSF by their very nature are so important that all firms must pay close attention to them. So you should be observing the success factor. What is the current trend in the industry? What is happening? What the customers are doing? What the competitors are doing? You should be aware. These are the prerequisites for industry success. So if you want to be successful, you should have this. And they form the rule that figure whether a company will be financially and competitively successful. You understood with the help of example, right? I believe the point is made. Great. This is important. Now that example will help me here also. That's why I wrote. Thank God I wrote. How to find out industry's KSF. Now you might be interested in knowing how to find out KSF of industry. Think like a customer. What customers want. We thought like a customer, right? Here, when we wrote down this, we thought as a customer what all points we should cover. Look at the first point. Look at the first point. If you want to identify KSF, let's say you want to start a business. He wants to start apparel business. He comes to me and tells me, I want to start apparel business. What should I do? I will survey people. I will find out what color combination which is trendy today. what is the design, affordability, because everybody cannot buy 25,000 rupee clothes, right? We have to be affordable. Color combination, design, affordability, all such things are KSF for apparel business. Which business? Apparels. You all understood this? Look at this. On what basis customers select between competing brands? On what basis customers select the brands? Features. Features. So what were the features for mobile phone? We wrote 8 features. Number 2, what capabilities does a seller need to have? What capabilities seller needs to have? This is what customer wants, but business owner should try to give something more. So what capabilities seller need to have to be successful? Because if existing competitors are giving the same product, same features, new entrant will not be able to survive because he has no brand value. So you'll have to go out of the way. Third, how can you give sustainable competitive advantage? Ultimately, everything boils down to this. How long can you enjoy your profitability? What does it take for the seller to achieve sustainable competitive advantage? Try to answer these 3 questions. You will be able to come up with a very good KSF of the industry, just like we did. We were able to find out the KSF, even though we are not into business of mobile phone manufacturing, but we are customers, so we thought like a customer. Problem is, once you start doing business, you forget that you are a customer too. So remember this, whenever you are giving advice to a client, whenever you are doing business yourself, think like, what will customer do? Will the customer like this? If they will like it, I will make. If they don't like it, why to waste money? This is the same example which I wrote, which I just said actually. For apparel business, designs and color combination along with low cost. Yes, any doubts? No. In morning batch also I asked, there also I got very good answers, so I expect the same thing from you. Generally I don't read conclusion, but you will read this and decipher this for me. I'll give you 2 minutes, think and answer. I expect some good answers from this batch. I read, then you tell me the answer. Key success factors vary from industry to industry and even from time to time within the same industry. I want to know the explanation of this point. Yeah. Okay, okay. Continue.
And time on the time in the same industry.
I did not understand the last part.
And one time we will have one kind of key disorder in the same industry, and another time we will have different pattern. The time will change.
Okay.
Good. KSF is not a predetermined factors. That can be a like that can be, it's not like fixed or something. Can be changed due to triggers of the environment. There is a competition around the environment changes. So the key success factor from industry can change depends upon those things. It's not some like prefix or something that we change.
Okay, okay, good, good. You are saying something. It depends on the taste and preferences of customers. Okay,
He suggests that for telecom industry, we have the same for textile industry.
good, good. You understood what he said? He was a little fast. No, he was very fast. But I understood what he said. And he's right, she's right, she's right. I told you I'll get answers from this batch only. See, key success factors vary from industry to industry. What does this mean? Vary means different. So KSA will be different from one industry to other. It will not be same. So whatever we wrote here is KSF specifically for mobile manufacturing business. Will it be the same for any other business? No. So KSF varies from industry to industry. These two industries will never have the same KSF. That is what he said. In the last, he gave the example. Textile business will not have the same as telecom or any other business. They will not have the same KSF. Even if you think about the same industry, let's say mobile business, mobile manufacturing business. Today's KSF is this, which we have written. But do you think 10 years ago, we were having the same KSF? No. So even time to time, in the same industry, the KSF will change, as these two girls said. Absolutely right. It depends on customer space and preferences. It depends on environmental factors, triggers of change. You all understood this? That is why KSF will vary from industry to industry and time to time within the same industry. You all understood this? Yes. Great. Now, this, please write SS. You read this, and I'm pretty much sure you will be able to gauge this, understand this. If you have any doubts before the lecture, after the lecture, during the break, anytime, feel free to ask. I'm here only. Okay? You all understood this? This finishes this chapter. What was the name of the chapter, by the way? Oh, you remember the name of the chapter? Dynamics of competitive strategy. How many concepts? 10 concepts. What was the first concept? Competitive landscape. Then portfolio analysis, value creation, globalization, competitive strategy, strategic analysis, core competence, competitive advantage, value chain analysis, methods of industry and competitive analysis. You all understood this? Yes. So with this, guys, we have completed this chapter. I hope you all have understood this. So we will start with the next chapter soon. I hope you all have understood this. Thank you very much. Thanks a lot.